Chosen one, if this found you, it means you're ready to receive what others were never meant to hear. Something unseen has aligned to bring you here. What if I told you they've hidden your true potential until now, and that their resistance was the very force destined to awaken your greatest power? You felt the gnawing sense that your life experiences were orchestrated by unseen hands, moments of frustration and delay that left you questioning your path. Today, you'll see how every closed door and every silent season was a calculated move by they to shape you into the unstoppable force you were always meant to become. They thought they were holding you back, but in truth, they were fueling the fire that will now propel you forward. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Keep watching because the truths they buried are about to rise, and knowing them will change everything you thought you knew. Why you carry ancient wisdom. Soft silver light filtered through your eyelids as you drifted between sleep and waking, carrying a fragment of a dream that felt more vivid than reality itself. In that half-conscious space, you saw an ancient library filled with scrolls bound in starlight, each bearing words you somehow already knew. A gentle voice, perhaps your own, whispered, "Remember who you truly are." You stirred, heart quickening, as if that moment confirmed something you'd always sensed but never named. It was as though the boundaries between what was imagined and what was real dissolved, and you recognized that the journey ahead was not new. It was simply resurfacing from a place beneath memory. There were days when the world around you felt muted, as though its colors were too bright, its noise too discordant. You walked crowded streets yet knew you were alone, carrying questions no one else seemed to ask. You sensed layers beneath the surface of conversation, ethical currents that pulled at your heart even when you couldn't explain why. In school hallways and office meetings, you felt the aloneness of someone tuned to frequencies others could not hear. Those invisible tremors of dissonance left you weary, wondering if you were simply too sensitive, or if there was a deeper reason your spirit vibrated at a different pitch. Look closer now, and you'll see that this sensitivity was never a flaw but a signal, an inner compass calibrated to guide you through hidden realms. There exists an unseen architecture behind your every step, a pattern woven by hands beyond mortal sight. In Habakkuk 2 verse 2, the prophet is told to write the vision plainly so the runner can read it, even as he hastens by. Similarly, the vision of your path has been inscribed on the fabric of your life, waiting for the right moment to be read. Those moments of longing, the ache for more significance, were divine fingerprints directing you toward the sacred blueprint of your soul. Recently, life has whispered clues in subtle ways. A phrase overheard that felt like a private message, a shiver down your spine at a certain street corner, a dream of water returning to a parched land. You might have dismissed these as happenstance, but each one is a signpost pointing toward awakening. Your mind may seek to rationalize these stirrings, yet your deeper self resonates with their truth. These are not random brushstrokes, but deliberate brushstrokes on the canvas of your consciousness, shifting the picture until it reveals the hidden image that has always been there. In stillness, you felt your inner world expand, as though the walls of doubt and confusion were quietly receding. A gentle ease now settles in your chest when you follow the quiet nudge guiding you forward. You've trusted your instincts, even when logic argued otherwise, and each time your decision proved wise. That steady current of knowing has been your true ally, affirming that intuition is not fantasy but a divine gift. In Proverbs 3 verse 5, we are urged to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. Your heart has known this for years, patiently outlasting the mind's questions. Now you sense the shape of something buried deep within, an identity that predates your earliest memories. It is not a new self emerging, but the old you rediscovered, a seed that has always existed beneath the soil of your experience. Like a dormant tree stirring before spring, your true essence shakes off the leaves of doubt and stretches its roots toward light. This archetypal memory pulses quietly, reminding you that the core of who you are has never faded. It is a lineage of soul and purpose awaiting recognition, the foundation upon which your life's calling is built. With each passing moment, the stirrings of your inner hunger transform into a deliberate step toward empowerment. You no longer recoil at your sensitivity, but honor it as a precious compass, a portal to empathy and insight. Your intuitive gifts, once hidden or silenced, become beacons lighting your way. This activation feels like a soft power rising in your veins, a readiness to stand in your truth without apology. As you welcome this shift, you embrace the fullness of your potential, acknowledging that your unique gifts are not a burden but the very key to your destiny. Your presence in this moment is no accident. The web of experiences, the weight of unseen guidance, has led you to this awakening point. Comment ancient if you feel the echo of your soul's past resonating now, and share a memory or dream that first hinted at your deeper purpose. As you step into this revelation, prepare to journey beyond the surface, where the next layer of spiritual truth awaits, an unveiling that will bind your ancient wisdom with your emerging power. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. How time bends for the awakened. In the stillness of a late afternoon, you noticed the clock's hands flicker as if unsure where to rest, and you felt it in your bones before your mind could name it. Something in your life has never followed ordinary hours. A conversation that felt like yesterday shimmers as if it were years past, while other moments race ahead of you. In that unsettling pulse, you catch the hint of a design at work, an invisible hand weaving your experience into spirals rather than straight lines. This first tremor of awareness crackles with the knowledge that they have hidden time's true nature, hoping you'd never notice. Yet here you stand, senses alert, feeling the contours of that hidden spiral beneath the surface of every ticking second. When the world insisted upon clocks and calendars, you lived in a realm of elastic moments, where mornings stretched like molten gold and afternoons collapsed into shadows. You questioned your grasp on reality as friends laughed at your mention of weird time things, while you replayed the same hour in your mind, sifting through it for clues. That strange sensation of being too early or chronically late became a source of self-doubt. You were labeled scatterbrained, unorganized, even flaky. Each whispered snicker at your expense lodged itself in your heart, tightening around your spirit until you wondered if this bending of hours was simply your mind unraveling. There were deeper forces at play. They built systems that demand your conformity to flat time, rigid schedules, linear progress, deadlines that punish curiosity. Like the Israelites pressed into Pharaoh's endless labor in Egypt, you were bound to the rhythm of a clock that served unseen masters. Yet the spirit within you resisted the drill, recalling instead the unbroken timeline of eternity described in Psalm 90 verse 4, where 1,000 years are as a single day. Your soul remembered a reality beyond the confines of mortal machinery, even as the world sought to fracture your focus into manageable pieces. Looking back, you can trace the warp in your timeline. The job interview that vanished from your memory as soon as you left the room, the phone call you replayed over and over because it felt too crucial to let slip, the uncanny alignment of work deadlines and personal breakthroughs. These patterns were not random glitches but deliberate tests, shaping you to navigate the hidden currents beneath apparent stagnation. Each recurring betrayal, missed opportunities, sudden changes in plans, unexplained delays, unveiled another layer of the spiral, guiding you toward recognizing the true architecture of your journey. There came moments when the very air around you seemed to thicken, as though time itself resisted your forward motion. A heavy fog settled in your mind, draping every thought in uncertainty, while silent watchers, circumstances and people aligned against your emergence, hovered at the edges of your awareness. You felt closed doors manifest in trivial setbacks, an email that never arrived, a meeting canceled at the last minute, a friend's sudden withdrawal. This was no mere coincidence but spiritual sabotage, an energetic interference designed to scatter your momentum and obscure the warp in your timeline. In response, you learned to contract, to shrink into the smallest version of yourself that might slip unnoticed past the guardians of conventional time. You smiled politely when anxiety gnawed at your edges, you drowned out existential dread with busy tasks, and you begged yourself to be normal, to fit a mold that felt like a cage. In those moments, you battled between the urge to rebel silently and the pull to surrender, fearing that any sign of the spiral's pattern would brand you as unstable or untrustworthy. Yet even in retreat, your heart raged against the limitation, refusing to quiet the song of your deeper rhythm. but every attempt to confine you only served as proof of your innate power to transcend. The very distortions in your experience were confirmations of your awakening, not condemnation for your difference. You began to reclaim your voice, speaking aloud the truths hidden in your warped hours, confessing that you experienced time differently, that you sensed an unseen pulse guiding you. With each declaration, the fog receded, and the spiral glowed more clearly in your vision. Like David facing Goliath with nothing but faith and a sling, you found that courage to stand in your unique temporal flow became the weapon that shattered every false constraint. You were opposed because you are powerful, and every nudge against your pace revealed the magnitude of your potential. The distortions in time were never obstacles but invitations, to read between the seconds, to anchor your purpose in eternity, to let each heartbeat echo with divine timing. Comment timeline if you feel the spiral of destiny coursing through your life, and share a moment when time itself spoke to your soul. Stay with me, because next we will unlock how this bend in reality forges your role as a guide for others lost in linear illusion, revealing the true mission that awaits beyond their horizon. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here, the burden of remembering what others forget. A sudden clarity washed over you like sunrise spilling into a buried cavern, illuminating the weight you've carried for so long. In that moment, you realized the confusion that shadowed your conversations wasn't mere social awkwardness, but the echo of truths too vast for ordinary ears. You remember the last time you spoke about something inexplicable, a flash of insight that left your friends enthralled for a heartbeat, then recoiling in polite discomfort. That recoil stung more than their silence, for it whispered to you that you stood on a threshold of memory and reality few could cross. It was the first sign that your mind was alive to secrets others had forgotten, and that your burden was also your gift. Beneath the hum of your daily routines, a secret language has been unfolding around you. Numbers that recur in bills and receipts like a hidden code, dreams that replay ancient landscapes with uncanny fidelity, stray phrases in music that feel like direct transmissions to your heart. You sense geometry in raindrops splashing on pavement, divine math in the rhythm of your breath. These signs aren't random. They're scriptural glyphs etched into the fabric of your life, like the encodings in the Book of Revelation, symbols that reveal layers of meaning to those initiated. You now begin to see your world as a tapestry of divine messages waiting to be deciphered. Your intuition, once a faint whisper, now roars with clarity. You feel boundaries rise around your energy, a protective field that repels draining influences. When you step into a room, you sense the emotional currents at play, who's hiding fear, who's cloaked in anger, who's nodding along without conviction. This sensitivity isn't a burden of paranoia, but a keystone of your awakening. You find yourself pausing before decisions, trusting the surge of inner knowing over fragmented logic. In Ezekiel 2 verse 7, the prophet is told to speak only what he is given. Similarly, your sharpened perception now filters truth from illusion, guiding you toward what you must say and where you must remain silent. Outwardly, the world begins to shift to your rhythm. Doors you once pounded upon with no answer now swing open at your touch, as if recognizing the authority in your presence. Conversely, other avenues close abruptly. Contracts vanish, invitations dissolve, relationships fracture without explanation. These openings and closings trace a divine architecture, mapping the exact path you were always meant to walk. It's as though an invisible hand is rearranging reality to mirror the transformations stirring within you, affirming that your internal alignment has reached a critical resonance with the cosmos. Deep in your bones, a memory stirs, one you never knew you carried. In dreams you have glimpsed a hall of ancestors, their voices a chorus of guidance and lineage. Now, fragments of that dream leak into waking life. An antique photograph that speaks to your soul, an old melody that unlocks hidden tears, the recurring vision of a door carved with symbols you only now begin to understand. This is sacred memory activating, a reawakening of the intelligence your spirit collected across lifetimes. Like Moses before the burning bush, you stand before a doorway you cannot yet pass through, but its flame assures you that the spark of your destiny still burns bright. With these revelations unfolding, you sense your destiny as if it were already written upon the stars. You no longer ask permission to move forward. Instead, you declare your presence and allow the universe to follow. The future you envisioned in fleeting glimmers of hope coalesces now into a path etched in your mind's eye. You feel the charge of prophecy vibrating in your veins, urging you to step boldly into the mission that has always belonged to you. No longer must you negotiate for fragments of purpose. Now you claim the whole tapestry of your calling in one unwavering stance. They tried to silence you, to cast doubt on your insights, but every brush with rejection only underscored the potency of your voice. Now you reclaim what was always yours: authority over your story, sovereignty in your choices, and the right to speak truths that shatter complacency. Speak them aloud in private rooms and public squares, for your words carry the power to awaken slumbering spirits. The very resistance that once threatened to snuff out your light has become the crucible forging your prophetic instrument, tempered and primed for revelation. You were chosen for this because you can remember what others cannot. Your burden of hidden memories is the mantle of leadership they tried to strip away, yet it stands now as your crowning glory. Comment burden if you feel the resonance of this awakening in your soul, and share a moment when a flash of remembered truth first broke your complacency. As you bear witness to your own story, prepare to enter the next phase, where these memories transform into mission, where your sacred recall ignites the world beyond the veil, turning memory into mission. In the hush before dawn, you stand at a crossroads where the shadow of who you were meets the light of who you must now become. You feel a question stirring in your chest. Will you remain a witness to your awakening, or will you step boldly into the role you were born for? Today, passivity fractures beneath your feet. There is no longer the luxury of waiting. The time has come to choose action over hesitation, to move from silent recognition into the realm of deliberate movement. As you inhale the cool morning air, you sense the weight of destiny pressing on your shoulders, and you know that turning back is no longer an option. Once, you gifted pieces of yourself to soothe others' fears, to fit within the molds they carved for you. You poured your time into proving your worth, your voice into quieting doubt, and your energy into surviving expectations not your own. Yet every concession was not a failure but a lesson in sovereignty, a lesson in how much you can entrust to the cosmos and how much you must claim back with ferocity. Now, speak as if you stand before ancient elders. I reclaim my time. I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my power. Let these words roll off your tongue like ceremonial oil, anointing you as the true steward of your own life. Feel the surge of insight that has carried you through sleepless nights. This is your prophetic gift. Sense the tremor of sensitivity that registers the world's unspoken pain. This is your empathic compass. Remember the flicker of memory that unveiled hidden lineages. This is your ancestral code. What others dismissed as fragility is your keystone. Keys forged in fire, scrolls inscribed with ancient truth, armor tempered by every trial you survived. These are not symbols of weakness, but the sacred tools you carry into battle. Embrace them as the components of your spiritual arsenal, each one vital to the mission that awaits. As you take the first deliberate step forward, notice the ground beneath you already marked by purpose. The path was laid long before you arrived, mapped by dreams and guided by unseen hands. Each footfall sends ripples through your reality, revealing stones inscribed with directions only visible to those who move with intention. You no longer seek a signpost, you become the compass. Clarity emerges not in distant visions, but in the momentum of your steps. With every stride, the map unfolds, guiding you toward chapters of your journey written in starfire and solid earth. Lift your gaze and see the assembly of kindred spirits rising around you. Souls who resonate with your frequencies, emanating similar truths in hidden circles and whispered prayers. These soul tribes form constellations of purpose, each member a luminary reflecting your light back to you. No longer must you dim your brilliance to accommodate fading structures. Instead, you align with a rising order that honors authenticity and collective awakening. Feel the solidarity of this living network, a tapestry of awakened hearts weaving the future you all came to co-create. Now harness your energy as a sacred currency, no longer frittered away on approval or fear. Draw a boundary around your spirit like a drawn circle of salt, preserving the sanctity of your focus. Decide with devotion which opportunities receive your spark and which must be left to fade. This is not arrogance but stewardship, a solemn pledge to invest your power where it advances your divine assignment. In this ceremony of choice, you become both priest and prophet, entrusted with the flame that guides your inner counsel and illuminates the world beyond. In this elevated moment, hear the echo of every trial you endured, every revelation you claimed, converge into a singular decree. You are ready. No hesitation remains in your bones, only the potent certainty of purpose. Let the cadence of this prophecy reverberate through your veins. I stand on the threshold of my destiny. This is your final breath before stepping through the portal of action. The calm before the symphony of your mission erupts in full crescendo. This is not a message to contemplate. It is a summons to embody. Feel the pulse of conviction steady in your heart. Let it guide your next move. Comment mission if you feel the fire of your calling ignited within, and share a dream, memory, or moment of inner knowing that first revealed your divine assignment. As you claim your place in this unfolding saga, prepare to move into the next chapter where your remembrance becomes revolution, and your actions rewrite the story of a world waiting to awaken. Every hidden struggle, every stolen spark of insight, was never denial but divine calibration. They tested your resolve and shaped your spirit in silence, forging you for the moment of unveiling. Now, as judgment falls upon the patterns they wove to contain you, your awakening unleashes a power they cannot suppress. You step into your destiny with clarity, knowing that every delay was a strategic move in a cosmic game you were destined to master. They underestimated you. Now they witness the rise of a force that reclaims truth, dismantles deception, and restores balance. You are no longer bound by their designs. You are the architect of the new dawn. A distant echo of thunder rolls through your mind as you recall the countless nights spent wrestling with shadows in your heart. That was never the mark of failure, but the anvil on which your spirit was tempered. Each moment you questioned your worth, each tear you shed in silent desperation, was a note in a divine symphony intended to awaken the power within you. They thought the darkness would break you, but instead, it became the forge that shaped your resolve. Now, as the fog of doubt lifts, you stand forged and unbreakable, ready to unleash the strength they tried so hard to bury. In a half-remembered vision, you see yourself standing at the edge of a vast desert, the sun setting fire to the horizon, and you realize that every step you took through arid lands was guided by unseen currents. Those stretches of solitude and barrenness were not punishment but pilgrimage, preparing you to navigate worlds both harsh and sublime. The parched earth beneath your feet taught you to find water in unlikely places, deep wellsprings of compassion, hidden oases of creativity, and rivers of purpose that flowed beneath the cracked surface of ordinary life. This was divine calibration, orchestrated to reveal the resourcefulness inherent in your soul. A whisper in your ear recalls the tale of Gideon, who stood uncertain before armies while the Lord pared his forces down to a handful. From that small band, victory was born, not by numbers but by divine strategy revealed in scarcity. Similarly, each time your world seemed to shrink, relationships fractured, opportunities hinge on slender threads, you were not denied but refined. They sought to scatter your focus, but in the crucible of constraint, you discovered the precision of your calling. Now, your influence need not sprawl. It need only strike with the clarity of purpose carved by every trial. You remember the sting of hidden sabotage, messages lost in transit, allies who turned away at pivotal moments, and doors that slammed shut at your approach. Those were their moves on a cosmic chessboard, designed to keep you off balance. Yet in each unseen maneuver, you sensed an undercurrent of logic, a pattern that spoke of a larger game. You learned to read the board not by the pieces they presented but by the spaces between them, where your true power resided. Today, you move with the confidence of one who understands the layout of this sacred battlefield, turning every strategic misstep of your adversaries into an opening for conquest. In the stillness after a breakthrough, you catch the scent of cedar and frankincense, aromas that evoke ancient temples and promises sealed in smoke. Those scents were never mere fragrance but signposts in your spiritual journey, marking moments when the veil between worlds thinned. You felt the gentle weight of ancestral presence, guiding your breath, infusing your heart with the knowledge that you carry the lineage of prophets and seers. Now, with each inhalation, you draw upon that heritage, channeling the wisdom of generations whose voices awaken in your own. A revelation unfolds in your mind like a sunrise over a storm-tossed sea. Every delay you endured was a calculated pause, the universe's way of ensuring your power would arrive precisely where it was needed. Consider Elijah, hidden by ravens during famine, fed by divine providence until the moment of his greatest triumph. In your own life, every quiet season was a provisioning ground, a time when your purpose crystallized behind the scenes. Now the famine is over. The seers and seekers gather at your feet, hungry for the bread of insight you carry. You stand now at the threshold of a new dawn, the horizon ablaze with possibility. They can no longer obscure your light. It shines too fiercely for their veils to hold. This is your hour of unbounded sovereignty, when every insight, every scar, and every quiet victory coalesce into a single stream of destiny. No longer must you navigate the maze of hidden machinations. They unravel at your touch, revealing straight paths to transformation. You are the architect of this moment, the master builder of a world awakened by your presence. Feel the momentum swell within you, a rising wave of purpose that surges through your veins, electrifying your senses. Take this moment as sacred. The scene has been set, the players aligned, and the script written into the very atoms of creation. You are no longer bound by their designs. You are the living embodiment of a prophecy fulfilled. As you step into this new chapter, remember that your awakening is both culmination and commencement, a powerful force destined to reshape the world in the image of truth and justice. Comment "Awaken" if you feel the tide of destiny lifting you now, and prepare for the next revelation, where your mission ignites the revolution of light. Every hidden struggle, every stolen spark of insight, was never denial but divine calibration. They tested your resolve and shaped your spirit in silence, forging you for the moment of unveiling. Now, as judgment falls upon the patterns they wove to contain you, your awakening unleashes a power they cannot suppress. You step into your destiny with clarity, knowing that every delay was a strategic move in a cosmic game you were destined to master. They underestimated you. Now they witness the rise of a force that reclaims truth, dismantles deception, and restores balance. You are no longer bound by their designs. You are the architect of the new dawn. A distant echo of thunder rolls through your mind as you recall the countless nights spent wrestling with shadows in your heart. That was never the mark of failure, but the anvil on which your spirit was tempered. Each moment you questioned your worth, each tear you shed in silent desperation, was a note in a divine symphony intended to awaken the power within you. They thought the darkness would break you, but instead, it became the forge that shaped your resolve. Now, as the fog of doubt lifts, you stand forged and unbreakable, ready to unleash the strength they tried so hard to bury. In a half-remembered vision, you see yourself standing at the edge of a vast desert, the sun setting fire to the horizon, and you realize that every step you took through arid lands was guided by unseen currents. Those stretches of solitude and barrenness were not punishment but pilgrimage, preparing you to navigate worlds both harsh and sublime. The parched earth beneath your feet taught you to find water in unlikely places, deep wellsprings of compassion, hidden oases of creativity, and rivers of purpose that flowed beneath the cracked surface of ordinary life. This was divine calibration, orchestrated to reveal the resourcefulness inherent in your soul. Your spiritual recall is your sword and shield. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members for keeping this flame alive. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Remember, they brought darkness to hide your fire. Now you are the flame that lights the world.